cleared onto the runway to position it whole. Sully taxied the airplane out, lines it up with the center line stripes, sets the parking brake, and he says, "Your aircraft." And I said, "My aircraft," which is how we verbally transfer control to make sure that one of us is physically flying the airplane at all times. We're clear for takeoff. I reach between us, grab the big thrust levers and push them up into the takeoff and go around detent. The engines start to spool up and they make a whining sound as they speed up as we start to move down the runway. I hear Sully next to me. He says, "Thrust set, 80, V1, rotate." And I pull back on the controller and the airplane leaves the runway. Sully calls positive rate. Thrust set means we're developing takeoff power. If we weren't, we would abort the takeoff. 80 is indicative of the fact that we have a, I remember something catching my attention. And I looked up slightly higher than you would normally, looking slightly to the right, and I see a flock of Canada geese. And they're far too close to maneuver around. In fact, at the speeds we're going, by the time you see a bird, it's too late to do anything about it. And then next to me, I hear Sully say birds. And that fast we were on top of them. Their bodies were impacting the wings, the fuselage, and unfortunately for us, two of them went through the core of each engine. I remember being in shock, just from being startled from this, as obviously as you might imagine. And I'm thinking, we've got to determine what kind of damage that we've had. And then after about 1 second, the engines just spool back. You could hear the whining sound that they make a climb power just winding down to nothing. And we've got the airplane with the nose up in the air. We've just taken all the power off of it. You can see the airspeed tape unwinding in front of me. I'm pushing the control stick forward to get the airplane into a glide so that we can at least fly while we're losing altitude. And Sully, next to me, decides to take over flying the airplane, which is his prerogative. He's the captain. And he says, "My aircraft." And I thought, "Hey, your aircraft." Not a problem. But actually, that's a signal. As we go through a normal day, and particularly in emergencies, we role play. We have the pilot flying, the pilot monitoring, and they each have assigned duties, particularly in emergency situations.